Salutations, my dearest friends. My name is Samantha, and today I'm going to be doing a video where I recommend a bunch of monster romances perfect for spooky season. Hello, how are you? Welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to Trope Week. I'm currently doing Trope Week on my channel. If you don't know what that is, it's a series I do here where for a whole week I take a specific romance book trope and every single day I give you different book recs. Today we're going to be talking about all things monster romances, but I will leave the playlist for Trope Week down below. It's a really exciting video though because it is a collab with Jessica from PeaceLoveBooksxo. Jessica reads a little bit of everything, honestly. Historical romances, contemporary romances, dark romances, fan fiction. Be sure to check out her channel and her video if you want even more monster romance recommendations. I'll leave her video down below. I have a lot of recommendations for this video, so let's go ahead and hop in. The first two books that I want to talk about are by one of my favorite monster romance authors, and that is Costa. I have a video where I talked about her entire backlist and some of my favorites, but for this one I will just quickly talk about two. So the first one is How to Marry a Marble Marquez. This is a monster Regency romance, which is probably my favorite pairing. I think that this cover is stunning. The book starts off with our heroine being sent to a monster's ball. The book starts off with our heroine entering into her first season in London and very quickly getting ruined. In this book, when ladies are ruined, they are now sent to the monster's ball, which is basically a ball full of monsters, gargoyles, werewolves, vampires. Before our hero comes in, he is a Marquez and he is a gargoyle. He ends up sponsoring our heroine and kind of teaching her the ways of society so that she can make a good match. But as he is teaching her, they fall for each other. It's pretty steamy, as most of her books are, but I will say it has very good groveling in it. If you like a groveling hero moment, this one is for you. The next one that I really love by Costa is Sweet Berries. This is the second book in her Cambric Creek series, but you can read it out of order. This is between a human and a Mothman. Her heroine is fresh out of a relationship. She's kind of down on her luck when it comes to romances, and she decides that one night she's gonna have a little self-love, self-pleasure moment. But as she's doing that, she realizes that someone is watching her from outside. It does have a voyeurism moment, and I know that might sound a little weird, but stick with me. Our heroine actually really likes the attention. This is the experience for her. She opens the window and has that voyeurism moment, and it turns out to be our hero, who is a Mothman, and it follows their romance. Our hero is a shy, nerdy hero who absolutely worships our heroine. It was steamy, it was sweet, and I love pretty much every book in the Cambric Creek series, so I highly recommend this one. If you're looking to read a bunch of monster romances, there are a ton of anthologies available on Kindle Unlimited. I love a good novella and I love a good short story, so anthologies are some of my favorite things. My favorite monster romance one is Bound by the Monster. This anthology has so many great authors like Cleo Evans and Catherine Moon. Just to highlight my two favorite short stories in this anthology, I really liked the one by Evangeline Priest. That one is called Lick, and that is a romance between a human and kind of like a snake monster, which I never thought I would be into, but I was feeling it. And then I also really liked the one that Costa did. That one is called A Family Affair, and that is a stepbrother forbidden romance. Cameron's mother remarries when she's older, and when she goes to the wedding, she ends up having this connection with a dragon who turns out to be her stepbrother. This one has an age gap, zaddy kink, really steamy, really cute, really quick. Novella that I love is Feed by Evita Weiss. So in this one, our heroine is a succubus and she feeds off sexual energy. In this universe, there is an app that paranormal creatures can go on, and it offers services that fit their needs. So if you're a vampire, you can find someone to donate blood. If you're a werewolf, they can help you through your heat. Well, our heroine is a demon who feeds off sexual energy. So she goes on the app and she gets matched to our hero, who happens to be her grumpy co-worker. Little bit of an enemies to lovers vibe. They have been kind of like skirting around their attraction to each other, and they spend one steamy night with one another. Sexy toys. We have a dominant hero. It's just like everything you would need. Love, absolutely love. Next one I want to talk about is Stalked by the Kraken by lilanlark. She also has a bunch of monster romances, but this one is my favorite. This is a romance between a witch and a kraken. I mean, come on, like you can't get more monster romance than that. Our heroine works at a bathhouse. Magic is in helping people find their fated mates. There's a little bit of a mystery happening in the book. Supernatural creatures are actually being kidnapped for nefarious reasons. This is where our hero comes in. He is a kraken, which is a very powerful ancient creature, and he is there to kind of like figure out why paranormal creatures are being kidnapped. But he finds our heroine and instantly realizes that she is his fated mate. The reason it's called Stalked by the Kraken is because our hero literally stalks her. They play a little bit of like a cat and mouse game. This has a little bit of a breathing kink in it. I'm just saying, it's a really good one to check out. This one I want to talk about is The Point of No Return by Devin Sinclair, and by the title you can guess that this is a Phantom of the Opera retelling, but spicier. So this is a monster romance as well as a poly romance. So the premise of Phantom of the Opera, pretty spot on. Our heroine Christine Daniels ends up getting a contract to work at this Paris opera house. She has a deep-rooted connection to the opera house, and it turns out she is the fated mates of the gargoyles that are trapped in the opera house. Said this is why I choose reverse harem. So our three heroes are gargoyles that are trapped to the opera house and have a connection with our heroine. Let's have a little bit of a mystery plot where our heroine is being stalked and they are trying to defend her. But I just really loved this twist on Phantom of the Opera. If you guys didn't know, Phantom of the Opera is one of my favorite things ever. I actually have a tattoo of it on the back of my arm. I love reading Phantom of the Opera retellings, and this one is definitely one of my favorites. Actually, a lot of gargoyle monster romances. One really good one is Titan by Jillian Graves. This one is a BDSM zaddy kink and really fun. And Jillian Graves has another Guardian romance called The Stone and the Star, which I'm reading right now and really enjoying. Again, love this cover. Like, monster romance covers are my favorite. Okay, if we're gonna talk about monster romances, we have to talk about another one of my favorite authors, and that is Catherine Moon. I'll just talk about two though. So the first one is Games with the Orc, and in this one it is a romance between a human and an orc. Her one again is just recently out of a bad relationship. She feels very unsatisfied with all of her relationships with humans. She's had a little bit of a fantasy of being with an orc and a little bit of a primal kink. Goes to an agency that provides those types of services. Our hero in this one is a sex worker, hiring him to be with her the entire week and fulfill all of her dark, sexy fantasies, but they fall for each other. And I love this one. Breeding kink, primal kink, everything you could kind of want. Hot, sexy, fun. And then I also really love A Lady of Rooksgrave Manor. This is a reverse harem romance. It's a part of a series that I think you should read in order because it follows like a mystery plot line throughout the series. In this one, our heroine is also a sex worker, and she ends up working at a place called Rooksgrave Manor, and her clientele is filled with monsters. We have a vampire, we have a sphinx, we have a guy who's invisible, and she ends up having a connection with all of them. What I love about Catherine Moon is her plot lines are so unique and she is so sex positive. I just adore all of her books. You could read any of them and not really go wrong, but those are two good ones to check out. Okay, another monster novella is Little Green Vines by Britt Andrews. This is a sapphic monster romance. Heroine lives in a cottage outside of a forest, but that forest is kind of forbidden. There are rumors that there is a monster inside it, but she cannot help but feel drawn to it. So she enters the forest and meets a very powerful monster who has kind of been eyeing her and drawing her in. This one is very short, very steamy. Britt Andrews has a couple other really fun paranormal romances if you want to check those out as well. Of course, I have more polyrecs for you because anything more than 2 people, instantly more fun. More people, more fun. I don't make the rules. That's just how it is. One that I think you should read is called Not So Kind Regards by Cleo Evans. This is a first in a series. It is an office romance. So in this office, it is divided between demons and witches. Both work for like similar law firm companies, and they've always hated each other. There's a little bit of an office rivalry between them. The two companies are actually merging and they're forced to work together. The poly romance between the boss of the demons, who is a female succubus, the boss of the witches, and then another witch in the office. I really like this one because we have a dominant hero and some submissive men, and it's just sexy and fun. Evans is amazing. She has so many books and monster romances that you can check out on Kindle Unlimited. When I tell you she has so many options, and her covers are also gorgeous. There's one called The Scoundrel and the Satire King. This is a monster regency romance. One alien romance, she has you covered. This one is called Cosmic Kiss. One really popular series that she has is her mafia romance series. First one is called Thieves and Monsters, and the second one is called Killers and Monsters. One that is really good is The Dragon's Bride by Katie Roberts. This is a romance between a dragon and a human. Our heroine in the beginning of the book is in an abusive relationship, so she makes a deal with a literal devil, a demon, to her ex, you know, just get rid of him. But in doing that, she does kind of sell her soul. So this is a series. So the demon ends up selling all of the human women that made deals with him to kings of other realms. And the first book follows our heroine who gets sold to a dragon king, and it follows their romance. And this one has a little bit of a breeding kink, very spicy, steamy, fun. I feel like that's the mantra for all of these recs. Spicy, steamy, fun. I could probably do a part 2 to this video because I have so many books to talk about, but those are just some recs to get you started. Always, I do like to mention some books that I have on my personal TBR. So one that I've heard nothing but great things about is Sweet Vengeance. This one is on Kindle Unlimited. Definitely I'm going to read this one because that cover, stunning. Another one is Threads of Fate by Lexi Esme. I got to see this author at a book signing. I saw her at Stimulant. Her books sound so fabulous and she seemed like such a sweetheart. She's gorgeous, by the way. So this one, again, called Threads of Fate, and our hero is a spider. Woo! A little scary there, but I'm excited to read it. Okay, so those are my recs and some books on my TBR. Let me know what your favorite monster romances are. Make sure to check out Jessica's video, and that's it. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend time with me. It means the world to me. I hope you guys are all staying happy and healthy, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!